This one's for all you straight young guys out there who are confused about relationships. So let's take a personal inventory. If you don't understand why women aren't interested in you, despite you being nice to them, you might be a nice guy. If you're annoyed by the fact that women seem to, in your opinion, like jerks, you might be a nice guy. If you feel like you must make everyone around you happy, and you believe that just doing that will lead them to doing the same for you, you might be a nice guy. If you hate interpersonal conflict, if you find yourself complaining and whining about relationships, if you push what you want down because everyone else's feelings are more important, if you hide your feelings from yourself and everyone else, then you might be a nice guy. And then most important of all, if you never feel like you can be yourself, then you might be a nice guy, and you're probably not happy about it either. So let's talk about how to fix it. I'm Dr. Goodwyn. I'm a psychiatrist. I'm also a fantasy author. This is the Imaginarium, where we talk about science, psyche, and story. Today's Mental Health Mondays is about relationships. But I want you to stick around until the end of the video to learn something that very few people talk about regarding this nice guy business. So stick around for that. Okay, so you're a nice guy. You're frustrated by relationships. You think you're doing everything right, but then you wind up in the friend zone all the time. You want to know why? There's a common thread here. And you can really sum this up all in one simple fact. There's one feature that ties all of the above elements together. Are you ready? It's the last one I just mentioned. You never feel like you can be yourself. Somewhere along the way, you got the idea that you're supposed to do for everyone else at the expense of yourself. Okay, and I'm not trying to criticize this. I'm just saying this is what has happened. This is what creates this situation where you wind up so miserable. Stick with this for a second. Notice all the nuance here. I didn't say that you learn that you're supposed to do for others and attend to others' happiness. You are. I said at the expense of yourself. That's the part that's the toxic part of this. Only with both of those features will you wind up being a, quote, nice guy that women find cute and sweet, but not interesting romantically. Why? Because potential romantic partners, and this is not just for straight men, this is for gay and straight, because the logic applies both ways. Potential romantic partners can pick up on what's going on underneath, even if it's only unconsciously, and it pulls them away. That is simply that you are not being authentic. Whatever it was that made you terrified to be yourself, maybe it was witnessing a divorce as a child, childhood neglect or abuse, overall instability in relationships over a long time, whatever it was, has made you make an unconscious decision to simply do your best to be whatever you think everyone else wants you to be so that you don't have to feel afraid anymore. But of course, the problem with this decision is that it doesn't really make the fear go away. It's a devil's bargain because it makes you just feel like, well, if everyone knew how I really felt, that they would leave me and hate me. It's not a fun feeling to have. Okay, so this is how to fix it. You have to be fully, radically honest with yourself. You have to take your feelings seriously, even if you don't like what they are. Then decide what you're going to do about them. You need to take an inventory. This is going to be painful. It will take hard, gut-busting work. But inner work is always difficult, or else you would have done it already. So you have to practice saying how you feel, blurting it out sometimes, but within reason, of course. You have to learn to articulate what your feelings are even before that. Chances are you're lousy at this because you've given them so little attention. Sometimes for years you've hid them, you've pushed them away. You said, if I could just push through this, it'll be fine. Or other people have had this worse than me, right? That's a great one. Oh, that's a great excuse to not have to deal with your own stuff. Okay, so don't do that. You are worthy of the time and the attention to do this work. Make this your mission, right? Your pain is your mission at this point. Now you have to know what you want, be comfortable with it, and have a decisive plan on how to get it. That's the end goal that you need to work towards here. Because the remedy for being a nice guy is not, and I repeat, not being a jerk. Being a jerk is no more authentic than being a nice guy is. Both of them are phonies. Both are putting up a front in order to try to manipulate others, rather than just being comfortable with who you are. That is what potential romantic partners are really attracted to. Surprising? Maybe, maybe not. But I think it's because a person who is okay with who he actually is safer than either the nice guy or the jerk. And it's by law. Being a nice guy means putting yourself underneath her. Being a jerk means putting yourself above her. A potential romantic partner does not want either of those. They want someone who's on your level, someone who's self comfortable, but not a narcissist, decisive, but flexible to other viewpoints. Okay, someone who knows his feelings but doesn't try to offload them onto his partner. In other words, he does his own emotional work and emotional regulation and doesn't ask his partner to mother him through it. Okay, that doesn't mean shut down and never share your feelings, right? There's extremes here that you want to avoid. If you can accomplish all those things, you can cure yourself of nice guyism. Okay, so remember I said there was something at the end of the video here that's going to be rarely stated regarding the nice guy phenomenon, and that's this. There's also a nice girl phenomenon. And shockingly, it's caused by the exact same thing. All right, so fear of authenticity, fear of conflict, fear of rejection. Only in this case, the nice girl doesn't wind up alone, pining for guys that only want to be her friend. Instead, she winds up with a guy who, knowingly or not, winds up pushing her around, not respecting her boundaries. She winds up resentful of this, but unable to say it. She winds up in a horrible trap that feels terrible. And you know what else? Nice guys and nice girls can find each other and get together, only enough to make each other miserable. These matchups are made in hell because neither party can effectively communicate. Resentments build up on both sides. Both members feel frustrated, and they don't really need to be. The answer to that is both members must do the same thing. They have to do the inner work. They have to learn how to communicate. They need to understand what their feelings are. So it's double the work. But the rewards are great if they can work through it. See you next time.